Hey guys, sorry we're a little bit late. We're having some technical difficulties with the Emoji app, but we're live here. Today we're fighting for Jessi, trying to make sure that we can raise some money for this brave little girl who's fighting really hard. Part of our family down in Texas, Team 515 and Buddy Larry Moxon. Thank you so much for having us be part of this here at Level Up. We're excited to be a part of it. We're excited to help. We're excited to do everything that we can. We're just going to go over some basic techniques, try to have some fun today. Hopefully this helps everyone and helps generate some money for this awesome cause. I have my awesome gold medalist girlfriend here helping me behind the camera, and my partner in crime, Roger Corbin, is going to come out and we're going to go through some techniques with you guys today. Come on out. We good here? See my feet?
Yep.
Yeah. All right. So actually, we was really fortunate to go out to CSA gym. What was that? A year ago? I think 2 years ago. Wow, 2 years ago. Sorry, coach. So 2 years ago, I was out there for the coaches clinic, and I learned a lot of really good stuff while I was working with Kieran. And one of the things that I really stuck to since I got back from there was stepping into my lead kick, which is something that they're really big on there, that they're really good at there. And I'd always kind of bounce back and forth between the two things, and I really like the step now. But I also really like the switch kick because I like the switch kick and how it sets up things. So today what we're going to work on is using the switch kick to set up a whole bunch of other stuff. Now, one of the things that did help me by being out there was kind of figuring out like, all right, well, I'm going to use my longer stepping lead kick for certain things, and now I'm going to use my switch kick when I'm in close, which is what I like to do. So for me personally, I have a lot of different guards that I like to work. I feel like if you can cycle through different guards and different stances, sometimes you can find one that people have a lot of trouble with. So I try to do that cycle through, and I find the one that I feel like is working really well, I'll stick to it. One of the ones I really like to use is just, some people call it a long guard, I call it fighting behind my hands. And I'm going to put my hands out here and try to keep them at bay and see what kind of openings I get. A lot of times this will open up things because they'll throw something, I'll feel a little pressure in one of their hands shift, and I can kind of tell where I should be and where I shouldn't be. One of the other reasons I really like this is I'm a big fan of attacking the liver, is if I can get their hands here and I can feel a little bit of a pressure, it makes it a little easier sometimes for me to switch and get that kick up to the body quickly. But that's kind of what we're going to start off with today, is just getting that switch kick off and going to the body. So again, from here, for me, I'm going to try to get a little bit of pressure on the hands, see if I can feel anything. I'm not going to overcommit because I don't want to run into something or run into a big shot or overhand, or if he happens to get a little bit over my glove, he can come over the top of the elbow or come up the middle of the elbow. So I don't want to overcommit and be forcing myself into this where he can just drop me in and knock me or something, right? So I am going to put a little bit of a pressure on my hips. I'm going to keep my hips forward. With the switch, for me personally, I try to make my feet slide across the floor. So I don't want to jump, right? So if we're right here, we're face to face, if I hop up in the air, he might clear out or sweep me or do something crazy, right? So I want my switch to be as subtle as possible, and that way I can also get my kick off a little quicker too. Right? So I'm here, I'm nice and close, I'm pushing in, I'm putting in. Cool. And I'm still going to keep that hand out in his face to make sure I have a little bit of pressure. So if he starts trying to walk forward as I switch, I at least have something to post with and try to keep him from running me over. Okay? So again, we're here, switch, boom. I go to the body. Now, hopefully the bell rings, right? We come out, we touch gloves, boom, I put my pressure on him here, and my switch kick, and knock him out and we win, right? But there's a good chance that it's not going to go that way. So if we are able to get to that body a couple times, what's most likely going to happen is they're going to start to either cover or check. Okay. So first thing we'll deal with is the cover. So when they're covering here, and now I'm starting to get the arm instead, I have a couple options. So for right now, I have a little bit of height on rod. So if I wanted to, obviously I could go high. Okay. Usually for me, I like to, after I'm going with the kicks, I'll switch off to some type of punching or elbow technique to draw their attention back away from my legs. So from here now, I've been switch kicking into that arm, and now that he's covered up, I want to give him something different. So I'm going to switch, land on this jab's going to become the cross. Right down the middle, I'll fire my new lead uppercut, and I'm going to chop the leg. Okay? So I've gone from my orthodox stance to a switch stance for my southpaw, And for me, I'm always going to look for that back leg. Any chance I can get to that back leg, I'm going to take. Because this one doesn't get kicked as often. It's usually not as well conditioned. Okay? I was, again, fortunate to spend some time in Thailand at Switchkick. And the way they kick, they really hop into that low kick. And I like that a lot. I have a good friend, June, fifth and mid. He is a southpaw, and he has murdered many men with that rear low kick. And he's got a beautiful hop. And he sets it up really well with this lead uppercut to kind of wind the shoulders up, get the hips and everything in motion, and then we can blast that leg. So what I did was kind of blended some of the stuff that I like to do with his lead uppercut and low kick, and got there from that switch thing. So I'm here, I switch kick a couple times, boom, that first one hits the body, now he's aware of it. He wants to make sure he stands nice and tight. I'm gonna check in just to make sure that that arm is in the way. And now when I go to switch off, I can get to that back leg. A nice switch, jab up the middle, cross down the center, and then boom, I'm gonna blast that back leg. Okay? So again, even though I took his attention away from my leg by using here, I finished with a low kick. So I'm expecting most likely for there to end up being a check now when I switch, right? Because that's gonna protect him from either one. If I switch and he lifts his leg up to check and it's a kick, he's good, right? It's a little dangerous if he just lifts it up right away when I go to throw the punches, but if he gets it up there in time or it checks at the end, I know I'm gonna get blocked at some point, right? So even if he just starts shelling up for the punches, boom, boom, and then he sees that leg coming, he brings it up to check. Now I've blocked that off again. So now, again, when I said punch, kick, something with the legs in it, right? So now what I'm gonna start focusing on, since that leg's starting to come up, is I'll switch, I'll let that leg come off the ground, and I'll drive my knee into the body. Okay? So same basic concept. I want my feet to slide across the floor as fast as possible. Right? I don't want to jump because I don't want to give it away. If I jump up in the air, I think you might back out. So I want my feet to slide across the floor. And again, that's going to help me get my knee off quicker. Right? If I jump, I have all that time that I'm in the air for him to do something else. So I want to make sure my feet slide across. I'm going to drive that knee right into the body. So again, going back to the beginning, right? So we come out, bell rings. Hopefully I can get him out of there with that first kick. He survives it, but now he's aware, so he's making sure he keeps that elbow down tough, right? So here, kicking at the arm a little bit. Start chopping at the leg. Oh, I fire the knee, okay? Again, so we're gonna continue following this pattern. We're gonna follow this pattern. So now, I've landed the knee, he's worried about the legs, he's got his eyes there, right? There's a good chance that if he wants to stop the knee, he's gonna post, right? It's the most easiest thing to defend in the world is a knee. It's the most dangerous weapon we have, in my opinion, and also the most easy to defend. So, if I switch and he sees me coming, he stops, right? So in that instance, now that I'm worried about that, maybe I go for the knee again, or maybe I'm going for my kick or any of these things, and what happens is he posts me out. So now he's slowing down my system. So what I'm going to focus on now is getting this hand off my chest, and I'm going to throw an elbow, okay, for a lot of elbow. So I switch, I guide the hand across, okay? I'm going to fire my knee first, and I'll come down on the elbow, hopefully right behind the ear or right on the back of the jaw. We can aim for the eyebrow line as well too, but it's a smaller target, so I figure if I shoot for back in this area and end up here or here, I'm good, right? Good friend Dorian Price showed us that. He said, aim for a very specific place, and a lot of times you end up a little higher, a little lower, and you'll still do damage. I'm not gonna give away all his ninja secrets, so you gotta talk to him about that. Okay? So again, now we're dealing with the post. So I'm switching, boom, I'm running in. So this is my problem right here. This hand, this is the one that I need to keep off me. This is the one that I need to get away, right? I also don't want to run into that risk of where I'm going here and then he's cracking me with that big cross. And I'm still in a position where my feet are moving, right? So I'm going to get this hand off my chest as I'm going. I'm going to fire the knee first, come down with the elbow right over the top. Okay? So back to the beginning. Come out, we're hand fighting a little bit, right? I'm making sure that I'm able to lift my leg if he throws kicks or anything like that as well too. Right? Then I go to fire my switch, boom, get to that body. Okay? I'm going to keep going there. If I can get it once, I'm going to continue kicking there. If I can get it over and over again, that's even better, right? If not, he starts to cover. I'm basing everything off of how he defends. If I'm chopping at that arm, trying to get his attention on it, I might kick that arm over and over again. If it's beat up, it's not going to be easy to throw punches or do anything else with it, right? Then I switch, jab, uppercut, low kick, okay? From here, now he's not sure if it's the hands or the kick. Okay? So when I switch off this time, I'm going to fire that knee. From the knee now, he starts to defend. So I get pushed off. I want to make sure that doesn't happen too many times. Guiding the arm by knee. Elbow over the top. Now, the beauty with that at the end is, if I can't elbow, for some of you who are kickboxing or doing not elbow fights, amateur level, stuff like that, just take the elbow out. Finish with that knee, okay? Any type of counter to the jab is always going to be good. We're putting that knee strong up into the body. It's going to fit in there really well. And we got a good system, okay? So one of the things I always like to address as well too is, what if this guy's southpaw? And that's one of the reasons why we went over this today, because I want to make sure that we went over something that works no matter what, okay? So again, southpaw, still basically everything's the same. I'm here, we're hand fighting a little bit, right? I'm going to hit my switch. I'm still going to go to the body right off the top because I want to make sure I can get to that liver if possible. So I'm here, my hands are up. Good rotation, make sure I'm turning my hips. One other little trick that I like to use too, when I'm kicking at the body to hit the liver, I won't turn my kick over as much as normal, okay? The liver gets hurt a little easier if you're digging up into it. So that's why you see when people throw these body shots here, they dig into the liver. There's a little bit of upward motion into it. And I'm doing the same thing when I fire my kick. If you look at my shin, it doesn't turn all the way over because I might miss it a little, okay? Not to say that it's incorrect or you can't do it that way. That's just the way I do it and it works for me, okay? So from here, southpaw, same exact system basically. I'm firing that kick to the body, okay? I'm getting his attention. Here. Same thing. So I don't have the luxury of getting to a back leg now. This one's probably going to be a little bit more weathered because that's his lead leg, but I'm still going to use the same system. So I switch off, I fire the jab. This uppercut's going to be a little meaner now because of the way his body's turned. So I can lift him up with that uppercut, and I'm still going to chop that same leg. So on the switch jab with the southpaw, I'm going jab, uppercut, low kick. Time. Now, next one, I'm going to fire that knee. Now, I see some people having trouble with throwing their lead knee against a southpaw because of its smother. Two options for that as well, too. So if I'm already hand fighting, sometimes what I'll do, if I can get on the outside of this one a little bit, as I switch, I'll move this hand across, and then now I can dig back into the liver again. Okay? If I'm having trouble moving them a little bit when I switch and maybe they're not going, I'm just going to step out a little more than I normally would. And I'm still going to guide their upper hands to the side a little bit too. So I can get a clearer shot at the center of the body. So from here now, if I don't feel like I can turn them this way as I'm shifting, I'm going to turn them this way to open up that body. And again, direct their hands and elbows away from this. Right? We want to keep this looking as good as possible. Okay? So we're here. We fire the knee right up in there. Now, again, his post hand could be this one, but usually with southpaw, you're going to find that same hand's going to stop. Right? Because I'm moving forward here. If he tries to post me out with the other hand, a lot of times it won't be as clean, especially if I'm switching. He's left himself open for that knee to the body. So if they are posting with this hand, that's great. It makes your job a little bit easier. Even though you might push me back, I might still get underneath it there and catch that knee. Okay? So the smarter move is to protect that side of the body, post with this hand. But again, they're right back in that same position where we started off, where we're guiding that hand out of the way. And then elbows the same. Okay? So your system for the switch kick works on both sides, right? We got orthodox, we got southpaw. Doesn't really matter. So we'll go back to the orthodox again. We'll run back through both sides one more time. So Again, bell rings, I'm here, I'm staying nice and long, trying to keep my distance, making the fight take place where I want it to take place, right behind my hands, here, I fire the switch. Okay? And again, I'll keep kicking at that body as long as I can get it. If you can land 3 or 4 more of these two, somebody's liver, and they can take them, you're either not doing the kick wrong, or the person you're fighting is very dangerous, and we need to get that fight over as quickly as possible, right? So we're here, we get to that liver, Raj is very dangerous. But he doesn't want to take liver shots all day, so he starts checking. Yeah, see, and this is one of those things where we start to get them to, they're not sure what we're going to do, right? And now that we've gone through just a small part of that system, then we can start to play a little bit, right? Because now we have the switch, we've sold them something. Yeah, we don't know exactly what it is right away, but maybe for Raj, it's just that body kick is coming, right? So now I can switch and come over to the top of the elbow, right? If somebody is checking, sometimes I'll go this leg. So if I'll switch here, boom, I'll double switch and then chop that support leg, right? We can start getting a little bit more creative with it as the round goes on because they're reacting to certain things that they're most afraid of. So maybe it's the body kick, maybe it's the knee, maybe it's the punches they're trying to slip out of the way, right? Which you'll see a lot of times too. If they're leaning off to the side because they're trying to get out of the way. This is what makes that uppercut so effective. And this is a good thing to point out as well too. So you see what Raj did there was he shot himself off to the side a little bit, got out of the way of the jab, right? And he's in a good spot. We call this a half step here. So I can still uppercut, but I do have to hop to get this low kick now. Okay, if I don't have to get this low kick and I throw it right from where I'm at, I'm gonna kick him in the nuts. Okay. This is one of the things that he doesn't want that. We're not going to demonstrate that for you guys today, okay? Unless you donate extra money to Jessi, maybe I'll let Raj do it to me. Right? So one of the things that I always try to tell my fighters is you got to be good at kicking inside legs and back legs. You got to make sure you don't hit them in the groin, okay? Because if you are winning the fight and you even get close, let's be real. There's a lot of people that they're okay, but they know it was close enough to where the ref will give them time. 5 minutes is a long time to recuperate. If you're rocking somebody and beating them up real good and the kick hits here or here and the ref doesn't see it and you're like, oh, my left, they'll stop it a lot of times. They'll give you a break. So we want to make sure that we get all the way back there if we're going to throw that kick. So again, if he's shifting off to the side, I'm throwing this and this. If I really want that back leg, which I will because the inside low kick's still a risk, I'm going to hop around, make sure that I post. So what I have to do right now is get this leg inside this leg. So from this uppercut, that's where I'm going to go. Here. I'm going to hop over, get inside that leg so I can make sure I wrap around and kick that leg and there's no question where that kick landed. Make sense? Okay. So again, back to the beginning. I'm here. I'm firing my switch kick off. Trying to dig into those guts a little bit. I can go right into the knee if I want to. Start chopping at that leg. And go to the lead leg here. Alright, now we're not sure where we're going, right? Good. Another counter, really good counter for the post. The switch jab that we've been working on. He might catch me in my chest, but I'm not worried about that, right? Look at that beautiful shot right to the chin. And then look where our leg's at, right? A little bit outside, so we get inside. Boom. We're always going to post when we fire that low kick, make sure we can get counter shot. Okay? I'm just playing a little bit. And always trying to make contact with the hands. Go back to this. That's not right in. That's not right in. Catch them as the leg's coming down. Okay? Nice, simple system. Works for everybody. Southpaw versus orthodox. Orthodox versus southpaw. Okay? So just want to thank everybody for tuning in today. If you did, thank you to Raj. Thank you, brother. Look out for this guy. He's going to be a monster. Again, thank you so much to Larry for having us help put all this stuff together for Jessi. I'm really excited to be a part of it. Thanks always to Muay Thai Addict, Ain't Generation for taking care of us. Action Pro Gear sending Aaron some gloves for one of her fights, so we really appreciate them as well. Urban Ninja. And like I said, I appreciate you guys having us, and hopefully this works out, raises a lot of money for Jessi, and we'll see you guys soon. Thank you. Level up.
1%.